Check your clocks, Italian timers. It's hot, I'm sweating, it's the summer, but in this video we're gonna learn about the periodo ipotetico in Italian. Let's start. So what is the periodo ipotetico? It's how you make hypothetical sentences in Italian. If I were to blah, if I wanted, if she goes, if they had seen. So there's really three ways to define the hypotheticalness, the hypothesis of these sentences. The first one is just the reality, realtà, or is it a possibilità? Is it a possibility, something referring probably to the future, or is it actually an impossibilità? This is usually a hypothetical of the past, like if I had gone, I would have blah blah blah. So the construction for each of these sentences is of course a little bit different. The first and easiest, the realtà, it's just going to be with a present and a future. And then the second part of the sentence will be again a present and a future. Se piove, sarò triste. If it rains, I'll be sad. Or se verrai, mangeremo insieme. If you come or if you will come, we will eat together. So that one's straightforward. No difficult verb tenses. The second one, possibility. So this will be se with a congiuntivo imperfetto and then a conditional. So, se io fossi ricco, comprerei una casa. If I were rich, I would buy a house. Or, se tu andassi, non sarebbe un problema. If you went, it wouldn't be a problem. Now, the last is the hardest one, and this even took me a couple months to learn in Italian. It's very difficult, but se congiuntivo tra passato and then a past conditional. So for example, se lo avessi saputo, avrei chiamato. If I had known, I would have called. I would have called. Or se fossi andato, mi sarei divertito. If I had gone, I would have had fun. Okay? So if you don't know the congiuntivo imperfetto or congiuntivo tra passato, check out our video on it. But if you know it and you're ready, let's do some examples. So number one is, if he wants to come, he can. So the first question you should always ask yourself is it the realtà, the possibilità, or the impossibilità? This one is, if he wants to come, he can. That just seems like the reality. If he wants to come, he can. So it's pretty simple. We'll use a present or a future with a present or a future. So what do you guys think? You can pause the video if you need to. So the answer here is se vuole venire, può. So very straightforward. If he wants to come, he can. So very, very simple, straightforward sentence. Don't overthink these ones. Number two, if he wanted to come, he could. So it's literally the exact same sentence, but we're changing the hypotheticalness of the sentence. If he wanted to come, he could. So what do you guys think? Pause the video. So this sentence is the possibilità. If in the possibility he wants to come, he could come. Okay, so se volesse venire, potrebbe. So notice how volere becomes volesse, può becomes potrebbe. Last is, if he had wanted to come, he could have come. So now we're referring to probably the past. Say we had a party last week, but you didn't come. If you had wanted to come, you could have come. How would you say that in Italian? So the answer here would be se avesse voluto venire, sarebbe potuto venire. So se avesse voluto, if he had wanted, and then sarebbe potuto venire, this is the past tense of sarebbe venuto. So sarebbe potuto, or sorry, the past tense of verrebbe. So sarebbe potuto venire. It's a little bit extra level of difficulty with could, because you have to add this potuto and not just sarebbe venuto. But now you guys can see the difference between style 1, 2, and 3. Next is, if I were Italian, I wouldn't have an accent. So again, what is that? If I were an Italian, I wouldn't have an accent. So this one is, se fossi italiano, non avrei un accento. So again, this is, even though it's not a real possibility, I'll never be an Italian. At least in the English sentence, if I were Italian, in the possibility that I am Italian, I would have or would not have an accent. Se fossi italiano, non avrei un accento. So congiuntivo, imperfetto, and then a conditional. Next is, if we eat together, we'll finish earlier. What do you guys think? Pause the video. So this one's, se mangiamo insieme, finiremo prima. So again, straightforward, present tense, and then a future tense, just like I did in English. Se mangiamo insieme, finiremo prima. If we eat together, we will finish earlier. Very literal translation in this case. Easiest one for sure. Next is, had she studied more, she would have passed. Okay, she would have passed the test. What do you guys think? Pause the video. So when you see she would have passed, you know she would have passed in the past tense, or had she studied. So you know this one's actually going to be impossibility. So se avesse studiato di più avrebbe passato. So, and you can always see these underlines here. So se avesse studiato di più, if she had studied more, avrebbe passato, she would have passed. Let's do 3 more. If you worked out every day, you'd have big muscles. What is that? Is it the reality? Is it a possibility? Or is it impossibility? So this one is a possibility, the second style. And the answer is going to be, se ti allenassi tutti I giorni, avresti muscoli grandi. So se ti allenassi, the verb's allenarsi, and then in the congiuntivo imperfetto, ti allenassi. Tutti I giorni avresti, you would have muscoli grandi. Let's do 2 more. If you don't like it, I'll buy another one. Is that the reality? Is it a possibility? Or is it impossibility? Pause the video. So this one's, se non ti piace, te ne compro un altro. So again, it's just the reality. So if you don't like it, really, I will really buy you another one. It's not a possibility, it's just the truth. So te ne compro, be careful with this. To you, of it, I buy another. So I will buy another one. And last but not least, if you hadn't given me the answer, I don't know what I would have done. Longest sentence still has parts 1 and parts 2. Is that reality, possibility, or impossibility? So in this case, it's impossibility. We're referring to a past hypothetical. If you hadn't given me the answer, I don't know what I would have done. Ok, se non mi avessi dato la risposta, non so cosa avrei fatto. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the periodo ipotetico. That in itself took me, like I said, about 2 months to learn. It was super confusing. But maybe after just 10 minutes of this video, you guys learned something. So as always, if you guys enjoy Italian and you want to hear everyday Italian, Sonia and I have a cool show called Italian Breeze. It's once a week for an hour, and all of our subscribers really like it. It's fun, it's playful, and we speak Italian, and you can practice Italian. So that's Italian Breeze. Check it in the description. And as always, I hope you guys learned something. I'll catch you next time. Peace.